What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today is Thursday, November 10th, and today we have to talk about FTX. Now, FTX is an exchange, both international, and there is also an exchange in the US. But the reason I want to show you this video is because there's a lot of lessons that I want to share with you, because this is going to help protect you later on down the road with other exchanges and what you can definitely learn about taking full custody over your own assets. That's both cryptocurrencies and also NFTs. So this video today is super important for you to watch, because I want you to learn from these lessons, but also these lessons will make you stronger and a better investor and holder of these assets for the long term. Now, everything in this video is going to make it super easy for you to understand what is going on, what has just been announced, and also how we got here in the first place, and what we should look forward to after this, that we can at least resolve and also fix this issue so that we don't have to be in this exact place anymore. So guys, be sure to like up that button, subscribe to the channel, don't forget to join our Patreon page, and most importantly, please be careful of any of these scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email, so please be careful and invest safely. So guys, let's get right into it. So the reason the first screen is the FTX token is because I want to show you the price action that's happened. Now we got to look at the overall chart. We literally went from $24 all the way down to around $3.63 within the span of 48 hours. Now that is a huge decline. And you guys definitely know, if you're watching this video, why that possibly has happened. Now, let's go ahead and go into the new thing. Now, this was what kind of started it all. Now, just going to summarize everything, because I'm not going to read this page by page, paragraph by paragraph. But this announcement by SBF, or Sam Bankman-Fried, who's the founder of FTX International, started making this announcement that they are looking for possibly an acquisition from Binance, which is their competitor. But Binance is the largest exchange in the world. So why was FTX or Sam Bankman-Fried looking to give away their acquisition over to Binance? That just seemed kind of fishy. And so later on, all of a sudden, DJ News started posting these tweets that FTX official, their actual Twitter page, was deleting old tweets, and we don't know why. And then later on, FTX.com was going offline. People were starting to get a little nervous and fearful what was going on that we did not know. All of a sudden, DJ News posted this: breaking, FTX faces liquidity shortfall of up to $8 billion and is seeking financial emergency funds to meet withdrawal requests. So what happened was FTX all of a sudden was stopping withdrawals from their website. So later on, CZ, who's the founder of Binance Exchange, posted this and said, you know what? We have reviewed some of the paperwork, some of the things that were going on behind the scenes, and also the mishandling of the customer funds. And also on top of that, allegations from the US agencies that basically Binance and CZ decided we're not going to pursue this deal anymore. So everything that Sam Bankman-Fried said that Binance was going to help in some certain way was gone. And so now people were super concerned that something shady was happening behind closed doors. And then all of a sudden today, this morning, Watcher Guru said this from the Wall Street Journal: FTX tapped into clients' accounts to fund risky bets. That's not good, in my personal opinion. When you put your funds into an exchange, they should not be touching your funds. Just the same way what we should expect our banks to do. But we do know, in all real honesty, our banks in real life do take our funds and use it for really shady things. So again, this is kind of the thing around taking full custody of your own money, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Later on today, this morning, this was just 4 hours ago, Sam Bankman-Fried pretty much made an apology on his Twitter page to the whole public, explaining everything. Again, I'm not going to go into details about this, but he's basically said that he should have provided more clarification, that he was so busy that he couldn't speak upon what was going on because he had to handle this issue. And he also said in here that, basically this affects FTX International, not FTX US. And we're going to talk about that too in a little bit. But basically that FTX US, users were having an okay experience. They weren't experiencing any halt on withdrawals. but that was only affecting FTX International. And as you guys know, FTX International, we aren't able to use in the US, but some people do use VPNs, which is like a private network that allows people to gain access to the international one. But yeah, so basically they were also saying something down below, which I thought was really interesting, and that was regarding Alameda Research, and there was this post. First, one way or another, Alameda Research is winding down trading. They aren't doing anything of the weird things that I see on Twitter, and nothing large at all. And one way or another, soon they won't be trading on FTX anymore. Now, Alameda Research is basically a company that SBF and FTX has invested in. Keep that in mind. So the fact that he's addressing that Alameda Research may have done something that may have seemed shady is kind of weird to me. And as you guys know, Alameda Research was heavily invested in UST. UST is the US stablecoin for Terraform, and we know Terraform Labs went to complete zero after using their AI software to basically run their stablecoin. Now, Interpol is on the search to find Do Kwon, who's the founder. He's on the run as of right now that we know. So Alameda Research doing this even after what happened with UST is not, to me, I do not approve of this. This is just goes to show that it's just not handled really well. Now, also, we want to share with you that somebody named Zach XBT said that he shamed SBF, or Sam Bankman Fried, for deleting this tweet, which is suggesting a competitor was targeting FTX with false rumors and that the company was fine. When I saw this, basically FBS was saying that, our competitor, which was Binance, is saying that, they were making these false rumors about FTX, and that SBF said that the assets are fine. Well, that was a complete lie. To be very honest with you, that is a lie. That's misleading your audience. That's misleading your followers, your investors. So that's not actually really good. Now, this one was also announced today. Sam Bankman Fried said, "We hope that this is just one step, beginning to find ways to bring liquidity to users. That is the core thing that I am fighting for right now and will continue to fight for in whatever ways I can." So what is this post about? FTX announced that they're going to be working with Tron Credit Facility to initiate a way where people can actually take some of their money out, even though they may not have enough money to support everybody. So recently, FTX has resumed their withdrawals today for customers. So now it's back in action, but is it in full effect? Well, maybe not. So one way that they're trying to do it is working with Tron Credit Facility to facilitate people to swap out their assets to external wallets. That means pulling your money out of that exchange from FTX International back into your own private wallet, your cold storage wallet. So that's interesting. We'll see how this goes, but I appreciate that it's at least trying to take a step in the right direction. But let's keep in mind, back on December 8th of 2021, Sam Bankman Fried testified before US Congress to provide at least some complete transparency, quote unquote, on what he said. And this is what he said about FTX. But interesting enough that FTX right now is facing potential bankruptcy. So hopefully they can find that amount of money to make up the $8 billion or maybe $8+ billion to make up for that loss. But also, this guy, Lesnar, said this. He said SBF spent months lobbying to kill DeFi, which was at the Congress, because he knew that transparent autonomous protocols were a threat to the trust me assets are fine finance. Now, that's really interesting perspective. The reason I'm sharing this tweet is because, maybe SBF went to Congress to avoid the transparency into the trust me assets are fine, because he basically doesn't want people to, monitor what FTX is doing. They basically want us to treat FTX as if we do a bank. And as we talked about this just a second ago, that we just trust our own US banks. We trust our banks to handle their money. And we don't question if they're using their money for, really evil things such as gentrification, oil, or lobbying to people that are not supportive of our visions in Congress. We don't know what our funds are being used for in banks. And who's to say that banks in real life are going to give us our funds? What if they lock up our funds too? They can absolutely do that. We can't just trust banks, but we also cannot just trust FTX. So maybe SBF was trying to avoid being like a bank, or that maybe he was trying to be like a bank, but just not identify as a bank. So let that be a thing for you to noodle on. It's a lot to think about. But what's interesting is that, Sam Bankman Fried has always been trying to let people know, really in my mind, how we need to take control of our money and that we can't trust all crypto exchanges. So he kind of warned us in a way, right? That they are secretly insolvent. So, just think about that. I think he's been trying to do his best. So in other news, because of all this, the Justice Department has decided to do a probe within FTX to see if the SEC, or the Security Exchange Commission, needs to continue an investigation to expand their horizon on FTX. Well, that's kind of what's been going on. The Security Exchange Commission is investing FTX.US, which is within the United States, not FTX International, which is in the Bahamas, which is overseas, for possible securities law violations for the months ahead and before. So this is all from Wall Street Journal. That's their sources. Now, I want to share with you this video about Sam Bankman-Fried, which was made by Nas Daily. Now, Nas Daily is a really influential influencer on YouTube, and he goes around the world, basically showcasing people who are trying to, make the world a better place, or people who are just very unique. But he made a video about Sam Bankman-Fried, which I thought was really interesting, is that Sam Bankman-Fried is actually a man who is a vegan. He actually drives a Toyota car. He's not into, basically buying fancy things or, buying fancy cars. He's not living the luxury, lavish lifestyle that most people would probably spend their money on. He actually, to me, seems like a really good guy. So what's interesting is that all this is happening around Sam Bankman-Fried's world, and maybe he didn't know what was going on, but he's absolutely trying to do his best. But he is a person that I think has really good intentions. He definitely wants to donate some of his proceeds, as he said in this video, to help other people, become financially, free, or have generational wealth in their own way, so they don't get stuck living in a poor society or a poor state of mind. So he wants to donate some of those proceeds to charity. This is this guy that comes from MIT and decides to, I'm going to get into this world of exchanges and cryptocurrency. So just think about that. This is who he is, I think, and I think genuinely who he is as a person. So I don't want all this news about Sam Bankman-Fried to go down, the rabbit hole. Now, this guy made an interesting point, but let me clarify, because this post is actually bashing on people, but don't take it for what it is. But I want to share with you my personal thoughts. He said, it's time to stop giving these children, these kids, billions of dollars. So number one is Do Kwon. We know Do Kwon is wanted. He's from South Korea, and he's wanted by the South Korean government right now. He didn't handle the properties at all. Now, I'm going to share my personal opinion around Do Kwon. I do not like him. I will say that point blank, because he's said some things online, kind of like saying that people are poor. Now, that's just I'm just summarizing everything. I'm not using that word for word. But he's made fun of people and said really not nice things about people who don't have a lot of money in this world, and he just became, to me, an egotistical person, and really karma ended up bashing him down, and he got really cocky, and he's just the type of person we should not look up to. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried, on the other hand, I feel like he does have an intentional good side of him. And also Caroline Ellison, who runs Alameda Research, I don't know her backstory, so I will not say anything about that. But they invested in UST. They use most of their funds maybe as lending or maybe as bonds. Who knows what it is with Terraform Labs. Now, this guy is saying something about it, but let me share something with you. As much as you're judging all these creative, unique people based on their age, look at Mark Zuckerberg. Now, we know Mark Zuckerberg is just like this person who we know we don't look up to. He definitely focuses on money, I feel, more than people. Also, he's leaked data of our own personal data, which he did not, basically let us, the users, know. We had whistleblowers release that information to us. But when he started Facebook, he started at the age of 19. And then when basically the company went public, and when he actually became a millionaire was when he was at the age of 23. Keep that in mind. He was at the age of 23, much younger than the other Web3 people, such as Do Kwon, such as Sam Bankman-Fried and Caroline, right? So keep that in mind before you start judging the Web3 space. Now, moving on, Elizabeth Warren had something to say around FTX and Binance and how we need to have more, basically consumer protection for us, the people in the US, to prevent us from, investing in things, but basically getting the Security Exchange Commission to enforce laws around this. Now, what's interesting is that Brian from Coinbase, Brian is the founder, CEO of Coinbase, said this: FTX.com, or aka FTX International, was an offshore exchange not regulated by the Security Exchange Commission. The problem is that the Security Exchange Commission failed to create regulatory clarity in the US. So many American investors, aka 95% of trading activity, went offshore. So basically, US citizens probably used a VPN to get into FTX International and started trading there. Who knows for what reasons? Now, punishing US companies such as Coinbase or FTX.US companies does not make sense. And I really agree with them, because if you start punishing US companies for something that happens offshores, then you're going to stop the growth, the period of the US capitalizing on this growing Web3 experience. And that means that other countries are going to capitalize on that, and it's going to beat the US. So what Warren is saying is actually hurting and not providing the clarity for consumer protection, and it's misleading us. And this is why they need to be educated in Congress, and they still are not educated because the technology is so fast and growing so much. So let's talk about FTX US. Now, FTX US right now hasn't, at the moment, at the time of this recording, stopped any withdrawals. In fact, yesterday, they continued to do that. But in this recent announcement by Watcher Guru, which was just today, FTX US says that trading may be halted in the coming days, and warns users to close any positions if you're doing any long trades, short trades, or if you have any funds in your account, to possibly take that out of your exchange of FTX US and maybe back onto your own hot wallet or cold storage wallet. Now, hot wallets are basically any extension browser, if that's MetaMask for Ethereum based things, or if that's a Phantom wallet, which is basically another Solana based hot wallet, or a cold storage wallet, which is basically you take all your funds and you put it onto a ledger, or you put it onto a cold storage wallet. So it's transferring your funds out of the exchange, out of any hot wallet, into your own private wallet. Really important for you guys to know. And something I want to share with you is that there are some people out there, such as Graham Stephan, who he basically shared his thoughts in a video about FTX because he was help promoting FTX on his YouTube channel. So it's really important to know, and this is a lesson for everyone to know, is that even with me, say for instance, and we can learn from Graham Stephan, who I really appreciate sharing this, is it's your finances. I do not know your financial position, let alone do I know what you're going through and how much you're investing in. So if anybody tells you, online influencers or financial advisors tells you to invest in something, question it all, because you understand that not just the Web 2 space, not just the Web 3 space, but anywhere in life, if somebody thinks they know better and you trust their decisions, then if something happens, you can only blame yourself, not them, right? So you might as well take care of your financial future. So one thing I want to share with you is, again, as a reminder, never leave your cryptocurrencies or your NFT assets or anything at all on exchanges. Buy a cold storage wallet via Ledger, which is something I recommend, and take control of your funds and assets, because it's your keys, your wallet, right? That's the most important advice I need to give you. While we're going through this transition from this, having banks and financial institutions handle their money, into this new world of us taking full custody of our own money, you have to learn how to take custody by owning your own cold storage wallet, not leaving it on exchanges, not leaving it on websites. It's literally keeping it on your ledger. But the most important thing I want to share with you is that if you keep it in your ledger, you are in control of your keys, you're in control of your wallet. So don't lose your ledger. That's the risk right there, right? Is that once you become controlled over your own money, if you have hundreds of thousands, if you move, or if your house burns down, or if there's an earthquake or a fire and that thing burns up or gets lost, you lose all that money, you lose all your assets. And that's the risk that you need to know. And that's something I want to share with you. Now, last thing I want to share with you is, where could you buy something? Well, this is what I suggest you buy, because this is the one that I bought. And this is the Nano S Plus, because it was the cheapest. It was $79 US. But I transferred my assets into this Ledger Nano. And basically, I want to buy it from the official website. Don't buy it off of Amazon. Don't buy it off a third-party website, because if you do buy it off of Amazon or any other third-party website, who's to say that that person didn't tamper with that Ledger Nano? That when you actually receive it from that third-party website, that you connect your cold storage wallet or Ledger S Nano into your actual, hot wallet or exchange. And then when you transfer all those funds, that hacker decides to, this guy just plugged it in, I'm going to take all your assets away, and then it drains your wallet. And that's something I want to share with you. So make sure to buy your cold storage wallet or your Ledger Nano S or Ledger Nano X, whatever you prefer, or any other cold storage wallet. Make sure to buy it from the actual creator, but buy it from the actual website. And even when you look at the website, make sure it's the real website. Make sure it's not like an ad paid website, because again, hackers can do that too. That's how crazy this space is. So guys, that's the ultimate lesson here about FTX, and I hope that this video has been helpful to help you understand to date, as of today, Thursday, November 10th, what's going on. Anything can change in this space. Anything can happen within 24 hours, so even by the time I'm recording this. But I want to keep you guys updated. It's very important you guys to know. And if you haven't, make sure to join our Patreon page, because I was warning people around what we could see with Solana. And luckily, we were able to make sure that we converted many of our Solana into US stablecoin, USDC. And if you haven't already joined our Patreon page, make sure to do that in the link below. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. So guys, be sure to like up the button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join our Patreon page to stay updated regarding everything FTX, regarding everything Solana, regarding everything within the blockchain world. And we look forward to giving you more updates. Until then, we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching Cryptolution. Join our Patreon page for all our private alpha calls, investment strategies, and one-on-one consultations in the link below. Limited spaces are available, so be sure to reserve your spot today. Invest safely, and we'll see you on the next episode of Cryptolution.